One of the things, in all honesty, that I appreciate from the Batman has to be Zoe Kravitz. Outside of the fact that she does a fantastic job as Catwoman, her character arc in the Batman is super interesting. Hear me out. So, it is not the evolution of the character of Selina Kyle into Catwoman. It is the evolution of Selina into Selina Kyle. So, for the most part, I would say 80% of the movie's runtime, Selina's trying to figure out and acclimate her own identity. And what I mean by that is she is the mother to, I don't remember her mother's name, but essentially she takes her mother's last name as in Selina Kyle. But at the exact same time, she's also Selina Falcone, the unknown, unaccepted, unwanted daughter of Carmine Falcone, the head mafioso shadow mayor of Gotham. She can't live with both of these two personalities. As a result, it essentially kind of tears her apart. While she operates and works inside of the Penguins Club, she only does it so that she can stay close enough to Carmine so that one day he'll notice her. But the more and more Carmine doesn't notice her, the more and more bitter Selina essentially becomes. And we see that bitterness finally tip over when she robs Penguin of essentially the drug money that belongs to Carmine, because she tells Bruce that the money belongs to her because it is what Carmine owes me. She's always looked at Carmine as a father figure who owes her something: love, protection, money. As the story progressed and she finds out more and more about Carmine, and she discovers that Carmine is a piece of shit, she finally realizes that Carmine has essentially been robbing her of everything. He robbed her of a childhood, he robbed her of her happiness with her roommate, he's kept her down, or at least chasing the ghost of Carmine has kept her down. So she decides to kill Carmine to rid herself of essentially these chains and these bonds. Batman attempts to stop her. And in the attempt of killing Carmine, she discovers that Carmine essentially killed her mother. When Bruce stops her, Bruce is like, if you do this, you become him. And it's in that moment that Selina Kyle, in my opinion, is born. Not Catwoman, but Selina Kyle. Because once she realized that if she kills Carmine, she'll essentially be a piece of shit like Carmine, she completely sheds that side of her family history. And she's just like, nope, I'm Selina Kyle from now on. Who she is as a person, or the identity that she wants to identify as, completely lost track of my words, but becomes essentially who she is. She's shed the shadow and the chains of Carmine Falcone that she's essentially had on herself since she was a child, and she moves on. Now, her moving on has her attempting to figure out exactly what it is that she wants. So she goes to help Bruce in stopping the Penguins' crazy freaking plan of drowning the entire fucking city. And it's essentially her watching him almost kill himself and becoming a symbol, making her realize that, yeah, Gotham ain't for me. Like, it's time for me to move on from Gotham and finally discover not only who I am, that I know that I'm Selina Kyle, but where exactly my life is going to lead me now that I'm making decisions for myself that aren't shackled to other people. And she actually does want Bruce to come with her. It's like, she gives him that option, but then she realizes more than anyone else that Bruce is already in a committed relationship. He's in a relationship with Gotham, and she'll never be enough to pull him away from his relationship with Gotham. But she is, because there's a moment there where they're both looking at each other and he almost leans in to kiss her. And I really feel as though there was a chance that the only person who could have pulled him away from his love of Gotham, from being a vigilante, from being the Batman, from being the hero that Gotham needs, would have been Selina. He would have happily left with Selina to Bloodhaven, but he holds himself back. And she, who's already made up her mind that she's leaving Gotham, and leaving Gotham means leaving Bruce behind, she doesn't give him the opening that I kind of feel as though he was hoping for. So they part. And one of the things that I love the most is the way in which it's shot, because it's shot from Batman's perspective. Both of the motorcycles are riding away from the cemetery, and then Selina goes left and Batman goes right to go back to Gotham. And it's shot from Batman's perspective as he looks in the mirror and he looks back at Selina, and there's almost like this longing, but you don't see it from Selina's perspective. So you don't know whether or not she also looked back with a sense of longing, like maybe I should have went with him, or if she chose not to look back because she closed that chapter of her life and her new life is essentially waiting for her over the horizon, away from Gotham and all of its bullshit. But I absolutely love her journey. I love her character's journey throughout the entire movie. Even though I feel as though the romance kind of happened a little bit too quick for both Batman and Catwoman, where it was almost like the very first time they met, there was just massive levels of chemistry, which is a check mark or praise to be given to both Robert Pattinson and Zoe Kravitz, that both of their characters had so much chemistry that the second that they were on screen together, you were like, yeah, definitely Batman and Catwoman relationship, 100%. There is no way that this isn't the perfect Batman and Catwoman relationship budding right here. But yeah, absolutely love it. I'm hoping that the rumors I'm hearing about Catwoman getting a spin-off of essentially, I guess, going off the Bloodhaven and being the cat burglar that she ends up being are true, and I hope that it also stays within the tone that Matt Reeves has essentially created for Batman and the Batman characters that exist in that corner of the DCEU. But yeah, what a fantastic job. Zoe Kravitz knocked it out of the fucking park, and I'm really hoping that she gets every single friggin' every award that comes out for this fantastic performance, and I cannot wait to see more. And I'll catch you next time. Peace.